Them little bitty suits is worrying me. Them ones that's high waters that's cut all up in here till we can count how many you got down there. Something is wrong. Little jackets that's too little, look like you just put on little Ray Ray's clothes or something and came to church. I'm not hearing y'all talk to me. To the point even your little dance scare me. The way you shout scare me. Your knees too close to be a man. Oh, I'm not getting nobody to talk to me right. Maybe I gotta look down here on the monitor because let me just tipping when you shout. Open up your legs and shout like a man. Y'all better come on here and say something. Y'all up here shout like girls and the women shout like dudes. That's it. Close your legs up. You a woman. Where is our difference? The Bible said put a difference. A difference. Brothers, we wearing our pants too tight.
So I'm gonna read a couple comments that was posted. So this right here was for the Daily Wrap Up crew. They have a podcast. Shout out to them. They said black women just keep pushing black men away, and they don't even realize they're doing it. Shaking my head. Another comment says, this is from a chick. She said, as a Christian myself, people with opinions like this really irks me. All these serious issues in the world, and this is what you're on the stage about. Let's see if I can find another topic. Oh, here's another comment that says, now Juanita, Dr. Juanita, if a man says your wig not natural enough to be a woman, you'll be upset. I'm gonna find two more. Let me see if I can find something. Here's one. He said, I can't trust no preacher with a heavy wig and big lashes. And then here's another one too. I'm gonna read this last one. That's the problem. That's the problem. Now, instead of preaching an uplifting sermon for the state of the world today, her messy ass is focused on the person and is receiving her word and feeling the spirit. And as a pastor, she's sitting with there judging him. That's why I can't rock with churches. It's filled with many judgmental people talking shit about, excuse my language, I'm sorry, talking ass about how somebody is praising and feeling the word. Shaking my head. And shout out to Why said she should stop looking at men and calling out women's attire. And that's facts. So yeah, Hakeem, I don't know if you know about Dr. Juanita Bynum, and she went off on men. And what's your take on it, brother? What's your take?
Thank you. You want to know something? I'm gonna look at this shit from this. I've never heard of her before. Mm-hmm. And before I get into that, Maurice was like, "Jump over here." Oh, he said, "Juanita be on some crazy stuff. Those traditional Christians are the worst." Now, for me, who's been in religion most of my life, some of these pastors. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Some of these pastors don't follow the scripture the way it's been taught. What she's talking about, some personal opinion, that has nothing to do with God. Mm-hmm. Like what she's talking about is an opinion about what type of man she don't like. I don't know what that has to do in the church. It's not uplifting nobody. You're criticizing some man. This is why I say sometimes there's some churches that's a hangout spot. You feel me? Maurice says she should have addressed it, TF Jakes, for lying his praying hands on the brotherly love. You got a point. I've been in many churches, and I know if the church don't stick to the scriptures, based on the scriptures and the gospels as it's preached, that's not a church for me. I don't need to hear satire. I need to be uplifted. A lot of these pastors chucking and jiving. And this is why we have a negative opinion about that, because we can make things as we go there. We can say what we want. We can put the scriptures, we could talk about personal stuff and put the scriptures in it and mix it up. If you know what I mean, and that I don't know what. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you can use your personal experience in reference to a scripture that had nothing to do with God. You know what I mean? You trying to classify what's masculine. You don't know what masculine is. You're a woman. You like a certain type of man. Them tight suit wearing with the half cut pants, that's just a style. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? That's my opinion about that. I didn't when I heard that, I said, no, she's not my type of woman I'm dealing with.
Yeah, I hear you that, King. Yeah, so she is. I'm looking at her profile. She's America gospel. She's a gospel singer, author, and a pastor. 65 from Chicago, and she was married in the early 2000s from another pastor. His name was Thomas Wisely. They've been married for 8 years, and then they got a divorce and everything. So I'm gonna say this. Yeah, Hakeem, you was right about, I don't know why people like her wanna have that type of moment of putting their personal opinions about, basically black men, what they've seen about black men wearing their suits too tight and everything. You're not a man if you wear your suit too tight and everything. First of all, I want to say this: styles has been changing. I remember back in the '90s when I had, even in the early 2000s, where I wear over like big suits and everything, because that was the style at the time, wear big suits, and the style was that is like we watched NBA players in the early 2000s, watch LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, we would wear over big suits. Now, time flies, here 2024. We like to, our style has changed. Big suits is not the style anymore. Now is you wear slim or extra slim suits and everything. But you to come up in a sermon and say, you're not a man wearing because you wear slim suits and everything. You can't. Your knees is too tight and everything. It's like what is that? That is very masculine. Talk about brothers like that. This is what you see, in these churches. Like that's why. What she just said right there, that's why men don't go to churches no more. Because what you're saying is it's like you're emasculating a man. I don't want to hear that. I want to go to church and hear all that. If I hear something like that in the church, I'm getting out of there. That's not a church I want to be in.
I want to say something that might get the people. Now, there's some traditional Orthodox Christians that follow a strict code. You can't come to certain Christian churches down south dressing any kind of way. The New Age Christians are allowed to make things up as it is, and it's a fashion show. Now, when I got into Islam, there's no playing around. There's no playing around at all. The imam is not allowing none of that. The imam don't even look rich there. You can't tell who the imam is sometimes when he goes and prays. Because when you go in there, you take your shoes off, you make salah, you wash your hands and your feet. The woman does not pray with the man at the mosque. They pray in a separate section. I'm just telling you the different contrasts. There are strict rules that we follow by, and this is why when you start to notice the contrasts of different religion and what they're talking about, you start to understand some things. I'm not saying Christians are playing games. There's some Christian churches that does not play. They follow the scriptures to the strict, where you can't even eat crab or pork. Leviticus 11. So I don't know who she is, or I'm just not finding out about her. She's not preaching the gospels or the scriptures or this. What a man clothes got to do with it? But I'm telling you, in Islam, you can't even come in there dressing what she's saying. But that's already been, that's naturally known when you go in there. You know what I mean? But black people in America, we follow Christ differently compared to everybody else in America who follows Christ. I don't know if you noticed that, Jordan, do you?
Yeah, I do. You're right.
Some of us come in there with the fashion show, the top hats, dressed to the nine, nothing about God. We clown people who come in there looking homeless. That's not no church I want to go. I've been to one church that I say, okay, these some real Christians here. It was in Massachusetts. You want to know why? This church had a program for homeless people, single families. They allowed everybody to come in. They was giving free haircuts, and on the weekends they was going out giving socks and water and praying with people. We talking about homeless people now. I said I ain't never been to church. I ain't never seen no black church do that. I ain't never seen no black church do that.
That sounds real, Hakeem. That's the first time I'm hearing that.
Joe don't hurt him know what I'm talking about. Them churches in Massachusetts. I don't know if because it's liberal there. You said Hakeem trying to taking crabs and shrimp from he said Hakeem trying to take crabs and shrimp from our Christian brothers and sisters to see what happens. Hey, and I'm saying those are the only church I ever seen who ever went out and did their ministry on the streets. The pastors was on the streets. This one church, they would go out and say, hey, he say, I'm not trying to praise to people here. He say, my fellowship worshipers are the homeless and the thugs. This the pastor who I was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And matter of fact, he used to come in there with jeans and a t-shirt. He said, come as you are. He said, this ain't no fashion show here. It used to be people coming in there with no shoes. He'll try to get the brother sneakers. I say, this is a church? I say, he used to give church outside at the park. Majority, and Joe don't hurt him, said something, and I want you to take over. He said, brothers, I never believe a pastor who drives home from church in a Benz. Joe don't hurt him. The pastor I was talking about didn't even have a car. He said all he needed is just pay for my shelter, and that's it, and give me my little salary. He didn't even have a car. So you're right. I don't trust a pastor in a Mercedes or a Phantom. You know what I mean? I looked at Juanita. She looked like she got $1,000 wig on. That's 26 inches in the back of her hair. Ladies, am I wrong?
He ain't wrong. At 65. God damn.
Come on, man.
And also, Jordan Herman said, you don't need a house or person to pass the teaching. Facts.
Praise be to Allah.
Facts. Facts. I believe that 100% and everything. And the thing is, it's like, and this is what you see a lot of these pastors doing and everything. You know, they build these mega churches. You know, there's a couple mega churches here in Los Angeles, Atlanta, Dallas, and everything. And you know, they build these mega churches, and you know, they teach, you know, hope and everything, and you know, get the offerings, get the money, and they, you know, and like you said, Jordan Harmon, they buy Benzes, Bentleys. You know, the $100,000 car just to ride and everything, so they can flex and everything. What was that pastor we talked about a lot last year, Hakeem, in Brooklyn? Forgot his name.
Oh, I forgot that dude named the Scammer.
The Scammer, right? He got in trouble. He was wearing his jewelry, and then he like I said, and then some robbers, they found him out. He was on his live. They went to him. They robbed him and his wife. Yeah, so a lot of these pastors right now, they're just trying to, they look at it as a, take a money grab and everything, which is it's just terrible, man. It's just a sad situation we hear in 2024 because back in the 90s it wasn't like that. You had very strong Christian churches back in there, which you had to wear a suit and everything. Pastors and ministers, you sit in the front. If you had kids and stuff, it was not allowed there. Now, certain churches you can sit anywhere you want and everything. I think churches got a little bit more liberal and, like I said, and very less conservative and everything. And and that's why you kind of see what the word it is and everything. So, Yeah, man. It's like I said, it's very hard to find churches that's find churches how they are back in that, but it's very very conservative and everything because me, I will continue to keep looking, but for now, it's not a lot of churches that I'm really looking at that I'm trying to go to.
Listen, I'm not trying to go to no church where it's a fashion show. Or they trying to, or we got to make sure the pastor live better than the parishioner.